Hi, I'm Christina Heidick with PTO Answers, and today I want to talk to you all about 5 different ways that you can get organized as PTO or PTA President. And this is I talk about organizing and systems a lot, and that's because they truly are game changers and sanity savers for me, because if you're constantly making things up as you go along, then life is just a little more complicated than it actually needs to be. And so I know a lot of presidents that I've talked to and met through the PTO Superstar Leader group, which I will mention if you're not yet a member. I don't know what you're waiting for. Go to ptoanswers.com/Facebook and you can find details there on how to join. It's free. You just have to sign up for it and answer the questions, and it's awesome. But there are about 8,000 leaders in there who are waiting with their support, love, guidance, ideas, and sometimes even constructive criticism to help you become a stronger, better leader. So as president, so much is falling on your shoulders, and it can really feel like everybody is coming to you with answers. They want you to have answers of what should be done in this situation or that situation. And it can just be kind of a big burden. And I don't want this to be a martyr situation, or you're oh, everyone's coming to me, but everyone is coming to you because you stepped up to be the leader. So your job is not necessarily to always have the answers, but it's really good if you can find the answers for people. And part of the issue with PTAs is that we really suck at transferring information. We are really bad at communicating. We're bad at communicating in between, within our own groups, and we're really bad at communicating with people who are not in our inner circle. And if you feel me on this one, go ahead and leave me a comment or high five or something like that. But I just feel really bad at doing that. And part of that is because there's just so much going on. And even as being president, things just fall into your lap and you have to deal with them then. And if you don't deal with them, then it really usually comes back to bite you in the booty. That's been my experience anyway. And so I guess I was inspired to talk about this topic because I found that when things seem to be going crazy for me, then I need to step back, look at my systems, to see what I can streamline and put into place to make things not so crazy, and so that I'm not feeling burnt out, and so that I am not feeling what the crap did I sign up for? Why am I doing this? I don't even enjoy doing this anymore. You never want to get to that point. And if you've gotten to that point and come back from that point, then you can feel me on this one. But I really feel like getting organized can either solve those issues when they come up, or they can head them off at the pass. So the very first thing that you need to be doing in order to get organized, and I really shouldn't say air quotes for organized, but this might not come top of mind, but you need to get your support system in line. You need to know that you're not alone and that other people are going through this. So as PTA President this year, I'm PTA President for 2 different units. One's a school, so regular unit, and one is actually the PTA Council. And so I was reaching out to all of the unit presidents, especially because there were I think 3 that I'd never met in person, and they hadn't come to council meetings last year. And so I was well, I don't even think they know what council is or what's involved. And so I was talking with this one leader, and I was do you have any questions? Or I forget exactly what I said, but basically she's well, I think I was saying, you can always ask me anything. Because my personal belief is that the only stupid question is the one that is never asked. So if you're just going on thinking, oh, I should already know this, that's crazy pants. None of us are born knowing this. And so that was kind of her position. She's well, I've kind of felt a little timid because I kind of feel like I should know some of this stuff already. And I was girl, no, we are not given a mental implant that we can just plug in and know everything. So my first recommendation in order to get organized and is to really get like get other people involved, reach out to past leaders so that you have a whole network of people that you can rely on. They could be people that are no longer involved in PTO. They can be current members. You know, you're gonna have to look at what resources you have in your community for that. But I ran into a problem this year where, actually I think it was last year, also for council, I wasn't given any electronic records. Like they had put everything on a Google Drive, but it only went back like 3 years. And I knew that council's been around for decades. And so I was like, we need to have more of the history. Do you know that I reached out to the PTA council president from like a decade ago? And I was like, hey, here's the situation I'm in. By chance, I know this is a long shot. By chance, do you have anything? She had everything in a Google Drive and just added me to it. And then boom, I now had like 6 more years of documents and like records. And I was like, oh my God, you rock. I like seriously love you. So don't be afraid to like ask if you need help. The next thing I highly recommend in order to get organized is like organize your digital files. And I kind of just touched on that. And I'll dive into it more now, but really it's so important for you to organize the information that you already have. And I think there's the temptation when records are digital that they get put on a thumb drive and then the thumb drive gets misplaced or the thumb drive gets corrupted and that information is lost. So I would encourage you as president to make like one of your big tasks this year to establish a cloud-based document storage system. So like a Google Drive of sorts. And what makes this really easy is that you as president can control who has access to what information so that every year when you get a fresh crop of new leaders or like committee chairs who need access to the information, you can just go ahead and invite them to the Google Drive and they'll have full access to it. It's a lot easier than relying on the old modes like the thumb drives. Like thumb drives, I just find it's like, why not embrace technology? If you don't like Google Drives, find the other equivalent. Maybe your school has something. Just find it and get your records like all up there and then organized by the office or the committee. And I have a whole blog post that goes into this, so I'll link below. Facebook was giving me a little trouble about pasting in links and it takes forever to manually type out links. So I will drop them in the comments or the video description when I'm done. In case you want to go search before I have a chance to do that, I think the blog post is called like how to organize your PTO records. Really something you should be paying a lot of attention to. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. All right, the next thing after you have organized your digital files, I want you to look at your paper files. I can't tell you how many times that whenever I step into a new position, I get a binder that is about this thick that like you could legit kill somebody with if you swatted at them with it. And it's full of about 75% of crap and at the very most 25%. I think I'm being very generous with my estimations there, but normally it's full of a whole bunch of information you don't need. And like the last time I got a binder, the stuff wasn't even in the binder. It was technically in the binder, but it was not hole punched. So it was like literally slid in between the dividers so that you always had to pick up this big mama of a binder with 2 hands. And I was like, this is crazy pants. So I had to spend like an hour getting it all organized. And so what I of course did was I printed out a copy of the President's Success Kit because I already have all the binder, like divider pages already figured out. And I put that bad boy together in no time. And I felt a little bit better knowing what information I had. And so even if you don't think you've been handed anything, I still think like a value, I still would encourage you to go through and one, get a copy of the President's Success Kit. It will make your life so much easier. And 2, organize, like kind of merge your binders, your old information as well as your information that you're using for the current year into a nice organized binder because it'll just make it so much easier. Like I've spent a lot of time before I had this binder set up, I spent a lot of time just like hunting down information and I would think like, oh, I don't don't know about XYZ, when in fact it was in my binder. And I was like, duh, if I just gone through and organized it first, that would have made a lot more sense. But I did get the binder kind of late this year, and it was, it just needed some help. So now that's all set up, and I feel like much better, especially because I know I'm going to be rotating out of this position after probably next year. So I want to leave it in good hands for the next person. All right, the next thing you need to do as president to feel like you're more organized is to invest some time. Oh, sorry. I would encourage you just to go ahead and, like, if you're unfamiliar with the best way to run a membership drive, go over to PTO Answers and look up membership, and it's a whole bunch of resources that are going to come up for you. But I feel like as president, if you have these questions and you really feel hesitant to ask somebody, at least do like a quick Google search or just go to PTO Answers. I have most of the basic topics covered there. Or on like my YouTube channel where I have like a ton of videos, and I'm really bad about, like, I will record a video and stick it up and then I won't tell you all about it again. So there's a lot of resources there. So if you're feeling stuck, go there, and I might open you up into a rabbit hole, because some people have said once they found out about these resources, they were there for hours. So now's a good time to do it, though. There's not a lot going on in the world, I gotta say. So then the last thing I want to encourage you to do in order to get organized is to get the tools that you're going to need to do your job. So I just think it makes a lot of sense to have a system that already has been developed and already has different kinks worked out. And so the main system that I want to remind you about is the complete planning and organizing collection. So that whole product suite came about because people are like, I need to know how to run a group. I don't have time to be researching this forever. I don't have time to be trying to run down the right information. And so it all started with just the President's Success Kit. And then I had fundraising chairs going, like, fundraising doesn't need to be this hard. Do you have any tips for that? Sure, put together the fundraising guide. Then somebody said, do you have a newsletter guide? Because our newsletter is like ugly and it's outdated and parents aren't even reading it. So, like, do you have something a little more streamlined? Sure, made a template for that. So what I'm telling you all of this for is that all of the resources that are in that bundle have been requested by the leaders just like you. So it includes the tools that you're going to need to do your job. And so it would be a really smart investment for your group to get all the resources now. And then even if you don't need everything right now, you'll still be able to have them right at your fingertips, so that when a volunteer gets stuck about, let's say you want to do a walkathon fundraiser, right? Because we're looking for outdoor fundraisers this year. Well, guess what? There's a guide about how to put one on, because I actually did a very successful walkathon a couple of years ago. So, like, it's already in the kit. So I want to encourage you to look at it. And I also want to remind you that it's actually on sale between now and the end of the month for 34% off. If you enter TREAT at checkout, you will save like $111. So I know it's a funky amount. I just randomly picked a number, gotta be honest with you. So inside the kit, there are just so many different tools for like pretty much every leader. And a new feature that I've added this year is that anybody who invests in the complete collection will have lifetime access to everything in it, and also, of course, but also any updates that I make to the various products. So like, you will, let's say you buy the complete collection this year, you will get the President's Planner, the updated President's Planner, which is updated every single year. You'll get the new one automatically, so you won't have to pay for anything else. And then if I add different products or resources to the bundle, you'll get those without having to pay for it. And so I recently added 3 different resources, like about 2 months ago. I think I added the Bylaws and Standing Rules Kit. Again, so many people were having trouble with this, and I thought, I am, a recovering attorney. I'm a big old nerd, and I like to wordsmith things. So I developed a really extensive and exhaustive template that you can just cut and paste or reword to fit how how you want to make it work for your group, but it's done in plain English and not legalese, which so many other templates that I've seen out there are, one, not meant for PTOs and PTAs, and two, lack a lot of the features that we need, and three, they're really hard to understand because some attorney or some attorney wannabe wrote them with big old words that nobody can understand. So anyway, so I added the bylaws kit, and then I added the membership made easy bundle. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's a good investment. I just want to get you the tools in your hands so to make your life easier, because if you're constantly trying to figure out how to do your job as well as creating the tools and the systems to do your job, that's a one-way ticket to burnout land, I really feel. So, because I've been there myself and I know how exhausting it is to have a never-ending to-do list as a PTO president. And you're like, dude, it shouldn't be this hard. Like, I really didn't sign up for all of this work. So, yeah, so I hope this has been super helpful for you and kind of opened your eyes to maybe different possibilities of how you can get organized and how you can introduce new systems and new ways to support you in your leadership role that maybe you weren't aware of until today. So I will be back hopefully with you tomorrow. I'm not feeling all that great today, so hopefully I'll be back with you tomorrow. So take care until then. Bye-bye.